Yo, what is going on, you guys? So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about sports card dealers. Of course, if you guys don't know what sports card dealers are, they're essentially people who go and set up at all types of sports card shows around the country. Most of them just travel. You see the same dealers at a bunch of shows across the country. And I've been talking to a lot of my sports card dealer friends over the last week or two, and that has inspired me to make this video because I think not enough people in this hobby are really talking about the importance of sports card dealers and how dangerous, right now is for them. So of course, the main issue with sports card dealers in this market right now is the growing travel costs and the inability to make cash deals. So of course, sports card dealers are vital at sports card shows to keep them going, to keep the content fresh. And just the cards they make available makes these card shows super interesting to even just walk. If you're not even trying to buy cards, it's still super interesting to just walk these shows and see what these dealers have. And of course, these dealers are a lot of the people who are willing to put cash into the market, willing to buy cards because they're also able to sell cards. So it's overall, they're very healthy for the market. And right now, it's getting extremely tough on them. So firstly, with these dealers traveling across the country, you have a lot of travel expenses, including airlines, hotels, of course, Ubers, transportation, all that type of stuff that's really kind of eating into their margins. Now, on top of that, you have to pay for the table to set up at shows, which can actually be very expensive, at least a couple $100 per show. So the reason sports card dealers were thriving so much is because of the cash deals they were able to make to really build up their capital, build up their collections. And sports card dealers have been thriving overall for the last 2 to 3 years. However, right now we are in a very tough position where sports card dealers are not able to make many profits. Most of the dealers I have talked to in the last week or two when conducting interviews with them, they were not able to make profits for the last 4 to 5 shows. The last month or two has been a real struggle for sports card dealers to break even or make a profit and offset, travel fees, their tables, and just overall their time, right? So of course, a lot of these dealers that I've talked to are really in it from the long term, and they're willing to do it even through these tough times just because of how much they love doing what they do. Because it can be extremely fun to just buy, sell, and trade sports cards. However, with the abundance of trades going down and not as much selling, it can really cut into, the margins and can make it really tough for sports card dealers to work with people who come up to their table and come out with a fair trade or a fair buy or a fair sell, because they are really hurting in terms of their margins. So one thing, I would highly advise for all you people out there is to really try to build up as much of an online presence as you can, whether on Facebook groups, build up your eBay portfolio. I highly don't suggest eBay, and that is simply because of the return policies and the fees you're going to pay that really eat into your margin, but that's for a separate time. But regardless, building up more of a social presence that can really expand the amount of people you can do deals with. Because of course, local shows can come to your city, but a lot of these dealers are traveling the country and kind of made a real living off the last 3 years off of just buying, selling, and trading sports cards at these shows. Now, of course, right now, in my opinion, is a very good buying opportunity. I know a lot of people, who I know who are, are waiting for the time to kind of put their chips back in as soon as prices start to stabilize a little bit, because I truly do believe that, we are going to hit a bottom point, and just like crypto and stocks and real estate, everything's going to start to go back up probably sometime next year. But the biggest thing is during these times is to stay afloat with making deals and still doing what you can to make your margins, but being able to do it online instead of in person at these shows, just so that you can save out on all the costs that come with going to the in-person shows that are out of state or out of even country now. A lot of people are going to the Canada shows. So it's just a lot of travel expenses that are really hurting people's ability to buy cards and make trades and make deals. And I think it's reached a point where a lot of dealers are kind of holding off, and not traveling as much, not heading to as many shows, just because it's harder to make sales. Now, some dealers that I know that are staying in it are just using it as a buying opportunity where, a lot of people who are a little bit desperate for money right now are coming up to them and trying to sell their cards for well below comps, and they can just buy those cards and post them up on eBay and make a good percentage. So a lot of people have been making 20 to 30% just buying cards for as low as 55% of comps. I've heard dealers are paying right now between 55 and 80%. So some dealers I talked to are still paying strong because they're still able to, they have a clientele that they've built to where they can still move cards pretty well during this time. However, a majority of dealers that I talk to are having to really pay less to their customers just so that they can make their own margin. So a lot of people are paying as low as 55% of comps and just posting them up on eBay and making a good 20 to 30% margin. So that is one thing, that is another opportunity. If you are someone who out there who's watching who is a dealer, you may just have to be paying less on cards to make your margin. And I do understand that for sure. But the main thing I would say is building an online presence is probably going to be the best way to survive in the long term in this hobby. And that is just because the most amount of people you can do deals with is going to be where you can get the best deals. If you're selling cards, you want as many people to see it. If you're buying cards, you want to have as many sellers to choose from as possible. Now that's simple economics, but I truly believe that, everyone should kind of join Facebook groups. I would say Instagram for sure, MySlabs, build up your online presence is what I would say is the main takeaway from this video. But I did want to kind of just give a video from a dealer's perspective when talking to all these dealers, how tough it is for them to survive and head to and travel to all these shows right now. I do expect it to pick back up, in the coming months or in the next 12 months, I would say is probably the maximum I think it will take. But yeah, right now it's just a really tough time. Let me know in the comment section below what your strategy is during this time in the hobby, during this time overall, not just in the hobby, but in life, because of course the recession is not just impacting sports cards, but it's impacting a whole lot of industries, pretty much every industry right now. And it's looking like it's going to take some months for it to come out. But yeah, I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. Drop a like and subscribe. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.